Hello and welcome to future YouTube viewers to this video in which we will be going over a Turning Point UK video in which Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, does the political compass test. Now, I hear you asking, who are Turning Point UK? Well, handily enough, they've done this little video which we're going to watch, okay? And basically, if you didn't figure it out already, Turning Point UK is the UK version of Turning Point USA, okay? Let's watch this.
In the 2017 general election, nearly two-thirds of under 30s voted.
Oh my God! This. Look, I'm sorry to pause it so soon, but this fella sounds like a teen conservative. Exactly the exact cadence and voice, everything.
For Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party. Young people are the left's biggest asset, but it doesn't have to be this way. What if we can start to change the culture among young people? What if we can show them it's okay to be in favour of capitalism, to be aspirational, to be against socialism? What if we can build a movement of young people dedicated towards conservative values? We can. You
can be aspirational and, a socialist. I think it's fair to say that, like, Lenin was pretty aspirational, right? Do you know what I mean? Can we agree that Lenin was pretty aspirational? They want this monopoly on it. You don't have to be aspirational and a capitalist. Like, what the hell?
And this is what Turning Point UK is doing every day. We are promoting young influencers who share our values.
Oh my God. Oh, these dweebs. They all look the same. They all look the same. These little right-wing nerds. Didn't get enough swirlies at school, that's the problem.
Marxist socialist theory is born out of jealousy for those who worked hard, innovated and followed the law.
I personally do not think it's Boris Johnson's fault that we're not leaving the EU on the 31st of October.
So according to Owen Jones, the Tories want to ethnically cleanse Britain.
So in your opinion, what's the more dangerous ideology? Socialism or capitalism?
Worth more, as in, well, obviously Boris Johnson.
They just cut out this tiny clip. You don't know any of the other interview. And he just asked this question. And the guy's like, you don't know anything about that interview. Just clip to make it for maximum, the maximum image of stupidity, right? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's actually not true, you know. Jeremy Corbyn is worth 4 million and Boris Johnson is worth 2.
We are hosting live events for students up and down the country where they can question our values and challenge our ideas. We are fighting to persuade students and young people online through our social media campaigns. And we are building Turning Point UK student societies on university campuses across the country.
Oh God.
And it's working. Young people are waking up and they're getting involved. But we need...
Look at that dusty ass meme. Look at this. Look at the state of this. Reasons to be so... Oh my God.
But we need your help to continue to grow our movement to new heights. With your help, we will ensure the future of Britain is bright.
Wait, they put a CGI Union Jack on the screen. Oh my God. Yeah, this group is considered a complete joke.
Because ultimately, that's what is at stake.
And they're asking for donos as well. Oh my God. This is funded by like conservative millionaires or something, and they're asking, oh my God. Johnson is worth 5 million, really? Okay, listen, let's get into the video. Okay? So Charlie Kirk takes the political compass test. Let's go. Yeah, Douglas, that's right, you got it. Oh my God, look, they've got all the fancy graphics like you get in the US. Hey, listen, this is what conservative funding gets you, people, okay? If you look at my content and think, damn, this is some scuffed ass content, okay? The alternative is I go and get funded by conservatives and then I have flashy stuff like this. But then I'm, saying some yikes takes, Yeah, snazzy.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Esther Kraker Show. Today I have the Godfather, the man himself, the genius behind turning...
Imagine referring to this fucking dweeb as a godfather, seriously. Look at him. This man is the Godfather. I think that they've used advanced facial stretching technology on the camera to make his face is actually much smaller than this. They've had to use advanced algorithms in order to stretch his face out so as not to reveal the true size of his face. Okay? Let's go. Come on.
Point to USA and the Bank of Brothers Turning Point UK, so you're all blessed with my lovely face. Charlie Kirk, thank you so much for joining us.
Honored to be here. We're going to have some fun.
Oh yeah, we definitely are. Today we're doing a political compass test with Charlie, and I'm just going to ask him some questions to see where he lies on the political spectrum. If he's a secret leftist, we're going to investigate that today. So are you ready, Charlie?
Let's do it.
All right, so these questions you can answer strongly disagree, agree, strongly agree. So those are the only 4 options that you have. All right?
All right.
Perfect. Okay, so
Why has he got no? He's got no personality here at all. Is it because he's speaking to a black woman? Is he sitting there thinking, "Oh, for fuck's sake"? Is he sitting there and he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake! I told them I wanted a white person this time." Okay. Why every time? I've got it on my rider. Okay. Whites only for interviews. And once again, here I am, okay? That's what's going through his head. I promise you that, okay?
question. Wow. If economic globalization is inevitable, interesting premise, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations.
Well, first of all, this question is obviously written by a leftist, where it's somehow that humanity is at odds with transnational corporations.
Yeah.
So I take total exception with the question, because the way it's written is that there's a contradiction between the two.
Yeah.
And then I don't even want to talk about whether or not economic globalization is inevitable, because I don't think it's inevitable, and I don't want to deal with hypotheticals. That's the first thing they'll teach you in law school.
Yeah.
So if there was like a middle that I could say neutral, but
I don't want to deal with hypotheticals. What's he talking about? This is a political compass test, it's not a fucking law court, my guy, okay? You're just doing some fucking political compass test. Chill. If you don't want to deal with hypotheticals, why are you doing a political compass test? It's full of them.
But if economic globalization is inevitable, should it primarily serve humanity rather than interest? I guess. So I guess I would mildly say agree if you put a gun to my head. But again, I think the question is kind of nonsense.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting wording, that one. Okay, right. Second question. I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong.
Well, I think there's a difference between supporting your country and supporting...
Sorry, can I just say as well? This woman should have spent less money on a fucking dumb intro and should have spent a bit of money on a better mic, because this audio is fucking scuffed. You can pretty much have anything scuffed, but if you've got scuffed audio, it just makes it like very difficult to listen to. Literally, go and buy a snowball mic. They're £50, okay, and done.
Your government. So there's a huge difference there. I would not support my government whether it was right or wrong. I don't know anyone who would support anything whether it was right or wrong. I mean, that's the whole definition of morals, right?
Yeah.
That you have objective standards, and that's what you base it upon. I love America and I love the United Kingdom because you have a moral government that protects individual initiative and individual liberty. Again, I don't love the question. This is obviously written by a leftist. A lot of these questions are to try to get people to like, oh no, I would never support my country whether it's right or wrong. Wait, hold on, difference between country and government. The country is the ethos, the philosophy, the people, the history, and the heritage. The government can be a collection of elites. So I would always support my country whether it's right or wrong. I'd say slightly disagree, but I think I nuanced and prefaced it well enough.
Okay, so I'll put agree, but like just.
I love the fact that it's listen. If you are a 10-year-old boy in the Middle East, okay, and a drone is circling overhead, right? Okay. And it drops a missile onto your house, killing your entire family. I'm fairly certain that you're not going to differentiate as to whether it was the country or the government doing right or wrong, okay? I'm going to be real with you for a second. I'm fairly certain that you're not going to really care about that nuance, okay? You're going to look around at your dead family and think, that was wrong, okay? That was wrong. That was a wrong thing that happened. And then Charlie Kirk comes in and he's like, well, it was actually the government, not the country that did that. So did you think about that though? Did you think about that side of the nuance that I just gave there? It's just it's like a turbo privileged take, isn't it? You know, Charlie Kirk is someone who is in such a privileged position that they don't have to deal with the consequences of whether the country does right or wrong. Really? Do you know what I mean? I mean, I suppose if America decided to, like, you know, kill their own citizens and he died, I don't know. But, like, yeah, it's just an extremely privileged position that he doesn't have to wrangle with the consequences of what would happen if the country did something wrong. Right? Can he say no?
Just because.
Yeah. Okay. We're right. We're not on the strong extremes there, though. Okay.
All right. No one chooses his or her country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it.
Okay. Now I can say strongly disagree. Right?
Wait. Hang on. Did he change it? I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong, and he's agreed with that. Oh my god! I thought he disagreed. What? Oh my god! That's absurd. That's some fashy shit right there. Oh my god, I thought he'd said disagree. We got some fashy coming through. Interesting. He did say disagree, didn't he? I don't know. Anyway, let's continue.
Right? Again, I could just imagine why the leftists want to put that, because people virtual signaling, oh yeah, why? Again, these questions are not questions. These are like statements to try. It's leading the questioner. No one chooses his or her country or birth. So it's foolish to be proud of it. Well, that's such nonsense. There's a lot of things you don't change.
No one chooses which family they belong to, but that doesn't mean you should.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things you don't choose, right? You don't choose who your parents are. You don't choose what zip code you're in. You know, there's a lot of things you don't choose. So I think it's total nonsense. By the way, you should be proud of where you're from, especially if where you're from is an exceptional, generous, benevolent country like the United States and the United Kingdom. So I strongly disagree with that.
Yeah. Okay. So our race has many superior.
Wait. The point of this question is that it is literally RNG. Okay. It is literal RNG as to, like, where your soul or where your, like, what's the other way to put it? You know, where your personhood is born, right? It's difficult to conceive of. Wait, when did he say the UK is benevolent? What? Wait, what? The reason I'm in the US is I made my parents' country and forced them to move out. Shit. Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. Like, my mind was placed in this body through whatever chemistry happened, and I happened to be born in the UK. It's pure chance. It's complete luck of how you're born, where you're born. Nothing else to it. How can you be proud of something that was just luck? There's pure chance. Do you know what I mean? It would be like me going to the casino, putting all my money on zero, or green or whatever it is, winning all the money, and then being proud of that when it was literally just pure luck that it happened. Do you know what I mean? Oh my god, these questions are killing me. Oh yeah, Zakhtar, exactly. That's true as well. Current state of national borders, time of your birth, RNG, precisely. It's completely random, you know, arbitrary shit, right?
Like the United States and the United Kingdom. So I strongly disagree with that.
Yeah.
Like the United States and the United Kingdom. By the way, you should be proud of where you're from, especially if where you're from is an exceptional, generous, benevolent country like the United States and the United Kingdom. So I strongly disagree with that.
Yeah. Okay, so our race has many superior qualities compared with other races.
Strongly disagree. That's insane. This, again, is written. This is the leftist political compass quiz. Strongly disagree.
Yeah. Okay, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
What? How is that written by a leftist? What's he talking about? That's absurd. US, UK are generous with missiles. Yeah, true.
I feel like
that's a silly question, too, because it all depends on the circumstance. And so, for example, if Iran, for example, was enemies with China, which they're not, that doesn't make them my friend. Or if Iran was enemies of Russia. So I strongly disagree with it. Anyone who just believes that on its surface is not thinking very analytically.
Okay, military action that defies international law is sometimes justified.
Of course, because international
Oh
law
my
might
God.
be wrong. So
Yeah.
just because it's international law doesn't mean it's correct or it's moral. So absolutely.
As all the other people that have done this test have done, they're coming out as pro war crime. Good stuff. Pro war crime, love it. What's the point of a 4 quadrant? Yeah, well that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, look, like I say, the way the quiz works, it does tend to lean people towards left libertarian generally, unless you're like a hardcore fucking whatever, you know? But it's not like written by leftists. It's just, I don't know. I don't actually know. Maybe I could look into why the political compass is the way it is.
I strongly agree that any action that might defy anything, it depends what that law is. So if the international law says that the United States can't defend its borders, of course that's wrong. And guess what? I could see some silly international council saying that. So I strongly agree that military action that defies international law is sometimes justified.
Awesome. Right. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment.
Strongly agree. I don't think we need to go too far into that one. So
Yeah,
I strongly agree.
That's a no-brainer there.
I mean, I think if I remember correctly, Ben Shapiro answered it in the same way, and it's a similar concept. Like, that's what you do as well, Charlie. Okay. I mean, sure, it's not particularly entertaining. How are we Americans supposed to police the world if we can't commit the war crimes? Yeah, true. Wait, did he? What was the hypothetical he did? I missed that. Oh yeah, he did about the American war crime thing. And he said earlier, don't do hypotheticals. They taught me that in law school. This guy's so... Oh my God. Pamphleteer. Okay, I'll check that out.
I.e. Hollywood. People are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality.
More by class than nationality.
I
I don't like looking at things in terms of classes. I mean, that's a very Marxist view, a very left-wing view.
Yeah.
I guess I'd I guess I would slightly disagree with that. But no
I think
real
it's more
strong
like
opinion.
economic. I don't know, because it depends on where you're from. Like here in the UK, the main, I suppose, divisions that we have in society are more class-based. Where in the US, is a completely different story. But it's still primarily class-based anyway.
Oh, hey, Curse Monk. Thanks very much for the raid. Yeah. If you believe classes exist, you're a Marxist. Yeah, exactly. What sort of... Like, literally, even the most apolitical person that I know speaks about things in terms of class, right? Hey, welcome everyone. We're just going over Charlie Kirk doing the political compass test. So it's pretty interesting so far. In case you missed it, he literally just said, okay, that believing and asking questions about class and thinking things are divided by class is a Marxist idea, is a Marxist thing. Okay? Yeah, classes weren't a thing before Marx invented them. It was actually, listen, it was actually Vladimir Stalin in 1953 that invented the concept of class, okay? This entire class thing seems bollocks.
I guess. I mean, I suppose. Look, what I would say is this: is that in the States, if we view that no matter what class you're in America, you're blessed, right? That you're lucky to be an American. So I don't know which way that would put it on this particular question, but I don't inherently like people, dividing people by class. So.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment.
That's the bigotry of binary choices. They're both important.
The bigotry of binary choices. Wait, what? Wait. He just referred to that question as the bigotry of binary choices. Hey, did you know that if there's a binary question you're asked, that's bigotry? Okay? Being asked a poorly worded binary question is actually, I don't know if you know this, it's actually worse than racism, okay? Did I hear that correctly? Is that what he actually said? Hang on, let's go back a sec. Are you okay? Yes, no. That's a bigoted question.
That's the bigotry of binary choices. They're both.
binary choices. What? I've never heard anything so ridiculous in all my life. Holy shit.
They're both important. Is one more important than the other?
Yeah.
So I would say disagree, but I'm also an inflation hawk. So that's gonna kind of screw up my question here.
Because it could be the same thing in the US, that the whole, communist state. You could have full employment, which you would under a communist state, but your inflation could be through the roof. So
yeah, so I guess I would say I disagree with that.
Yeah.
So,
all right,
or maybe again, it's right near it. It's in the middle. I wish they had just kind of like a push option. So.
No, that's fine. Right, because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation.
What kind of crazy question is this?
Yeah.
The question is implying something that's categorically false. Of course they can be trusted to voluntarily protect private property. I strongly disagree with it. This is written by a Marxist.
It's written by a Marxist. Now, the point of the questions, like, the funny thing is, earlier, that question that said, like, some races are inherently better than others, yeah? He responded to that and said that question is written by a leftist. And he's saying the same thing about this question as well. It doesn't matter which way the question is worded. The point is to make a potentially provocative statement so that you have a strong reaction to it. And then you reply like strongly disagree, strongly agree. Do you see what I mean? And that's the point of the political compass test. So that if you do really strongly disagree with something, you select that option and it goes into the however it works and affects the outcome on the compass. Yeah, exactly. They're written to trigger a political response. Precisely. That's the point of the quiz, right? Oh, my God.
Marxist political compass test. I want to find the author of this. This is trying to make people left-wing. You can't lead the questioner. It should say this. Should corporations require regulation for environmental policy? Not putting your own value system into the question. It's nonsense.
What's funny as well is he's trying to tell the political compass people how to write their test. We just did your test. The Turning Point UK test, Charlie Kirk, and it was absolute dog shit. And it had questions like, is Winston Churchill a hero or a villain? And what's more important, free speech or freedom from offence? So I love the fact that he's critiquing the way these questions are worded. And like, his test is, oh my God, this is so good. Yeah, exactly. He just doesn't understand it. That's exactly the point. They do lead you. They lead you so you give a strong response.
Okay, next question. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs is a fundamentally good idea.
Strongly disagree. We're not Marxists.
Yeah. No Marxists.
I don't know. I mean, if Jeremy Corbyn was taking the test, then sure.
I suppose, yeah.
It's just funny how, like, it's funny to me how he just has an aversion to that because it's Marxist, because it's a Marxist sort of idea or principle, right? And I think that like Ben Shapiro did the same thing. He didn't assess the statement on its merits. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't assess the statement on its merits. He literally just, it's Marx, and hand waves it away, not interested in engaging with the idea of it, you know? Very interesting.
The market, the free of the people.
Strongly agree.
Yeah.
Obvious.
All right, it's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product.
Strongly disagree.
Yeah, I like bottled water, actually. I don't know what they have. So am I supposed to go to the tap and like do this all the time?
We have more people that have more access to water thanks to the free market. The profit incentive has made more people wealthy, more efficient than ever before. So again, if you believe in the leftist the theory of labor, I guess that would be your answer. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's just placing.
What's the leftist theory of labor got to do with that? It's literally just they don't contend with the idea of this at all. It's literally just the suggestion that, hey, isn't it kind of messed up that water, something that everyone needs to survive, can be commodified, right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm sure people in the third world would agree as they trek from us to the nearest clean water source. Yeah, precisely.
Value judgment on what should be considered a commodity. If it has value to someone that someone is willing to pay for, it's inherently a commodity. So, unfortunately,
yeah.
But anyway, land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold.
Strongly disagree. Everything has value and it should be treated as such. Every piece of property, I should say.
It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society.
This is so biased. If you're watching this video, do you realize how biased this is? This is like the reflections or the meditations of an angry leftist in a political compass. I strongly disagree. If you create value and are able to circulate money and you're able to make money off of it, you should be rewarded. That's what private property is all about.
Okay, I'm going to strongly disagree for that one.
I love the fact that like then they've got this question here. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade, which is like this next question. Like it isn't even inherently a certain position. Like you can have left wing protectionism and right wing protectionism. Do you know what I mean? These questions are just designed to be. Oh, I'm not going to say it again. I've said it a billion times. Okay.
Yeah.
Protectionism is necessary. It's sometimes necessary in trade.
I do agree with this, especially when it comes to China. I don't strongly agree with it. I'll just say slightly agree. Certain industries in the United States should be preserved and protected against our adversaries and enemies. Absolutely.
Okay. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders.
Okay, I don't know who would ever say they strongly agree with this. The only, like as if it's the only thing. It's such a misleading question.
Yeah.
So I'll say slightly disagree because, of course, they have more of a social responsibility. They have to pay their workers. They have to treat their workers well. But they wouldn't be able to make a profit if they didn't do that. So it's a very, very misleading question. But I'll just say disagree.
They wouldn't be able to make a profit if they didn't do that. They wouldn't be able to make a profit if they didn't pay their workers and treat them well. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one, Chief. Okay. Source, Amazon. Okay. Go and look at Amazon. Okay, and then that just completely debunks what you said there. But anyway, let's continue.
Agree on face value.
Okay. The rich are too highly taxed.
Strongly agree. Everyone is way too highly taxed. From the lowest worker to the highest earner, taxes are way too damn high. Strongly agree.
Okay, those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care.
Absolutely, strongly agree. 100%. Absolutely.
Okay.
If you work hard and have a great idea, you should have better access to whatever it is that you've earned. Absolutely.
Okay.
Hey, listen. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. That is inherently like a sort of I guess you could call it like a right wing principle. You know, the idea that like you should get a better standard of healthcare if you can afford it. He doesn't complain about that one, though, does he? This is the thing. Some of the questions are worded in such a way that will lean you more towards this way or that way, right? But yeah, I find that particularly egregious. That answer, you know. The idea that like your access to a standard of medical care should be based on whether you can afford it or not. Like, oh my god, America's so fucked that there's such this weird pathology where like especially conservatives, they've got such weird views about healthcare. It's so weird to me, especially what with having like the NHS in the UK, you know. Where like you know, hey, listen, we've got a new rule. If there's someone with like a dumb name and it's like a new account, we're just banning them straight away. We're not playing games with them anymore. Okay. So Fox, if you're still there, just yeet people that have got accounts that were just created today with a dumb name. I'm not wasting my time with them anymore. Anyway, look, let's continue.
Government should penalise businesses that mislead the public.
I agree with that. Yes.
Do you think that
Not
applies
strongly
to
agree. Agree. Huh?
Do you think that applies to the media? Government should penalise businesses that mislead the public.
Say that again. Can you say it again?
Do you
Sorry.
think that applies to the media? So newspapers. And...
Oh yeah, absolutely. If the media intentionally misleads the public, they should absolutely be penalized. 100%. Yes.
Okay. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of multinationals to create monopolies.
Yeah, I could be in the middle. I could be push. Again, this is written very misleadingly to try to convince people that they're leftists when they're really not. That's why they wrote these questions the way they did. But again, I am not someone who's totally laissez-faire when it comes to monopolies. So I'll say slightly agree with that.
Slightly agree. All right. And
oh, Mr. Free Market Capitalist over here. Okay, thinks there should be government intervention in the market. What on earth? But the thing is with the free market is if there's like a monopoly, there'll just be another company that comes up that's better and you know, challenges the monopoly, right? That's how it's supposed to work. It's funny how these people are like free marketeers. Like, didn't he say earlier how much he loves free markets? But then when he's presented with like a flaw in the free market, it's, oh yeah, well we can let the government intervene in that instance. Do you know what I mean? Or like if a company misleads the public, Oh yeah, we can let the government intervene in that instance. You know? Hilarious. Good stuff. It's just hilarious to me that it's always the way. I mean, you do get like the unhinged weirdos who are like so hardcore free market that even when they're presented with the contradictions and the problems of the free market, they'll kind of like still say, "Oh no, the free market will fix it." Like when Ben Shapiro went on Joe Rogan's show and said like there shouldn't be building regulations. Do you remember that? Yeah, I'm okay, thanks, Dara. How are you? Crypto Keynesian economics. Yes, exactly. But yeah, it's just hilarious to me how you see these free marketeers start to crumble as the cognitive dissonance of the realization that the free market can't actually solve everything starts to twist their brain around. They immediately start calling and crying out for government intervention in the market. Oh, good memes. Okay.
Question. Okay. Abortion when the woman's life is not threatened should always be illegal.
Strongly agree. Every life is worth protecting. And if there weren't two sets of DNA, then how on earth could there not be two human beings there? Two sets of DNA. It's not your body. If it's not your DNA, it's not your choice.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a nice spin on it. Not your DNA, not your choice. All authority should be questioned.
Strongly agree. Yes.
Okay. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Unless it's a CEO, I guess. I don't know. I'm just memeing at this point. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
I will say disagree. It's a trap question, but biblically and theologically, I do not agree with that. So I will say a disagree.
Okay. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theatres or museums that can't survive on a commercial basis.
Strongly agree that they should not be expected. Essentially, let them go under if they can't support themselves. So strongly agree.
So, sorry, is that another left-wing question, or is that another left-wing question there? I don't know. I'm still waiting for any word from members of the fetus lobby. Excuse me. I mean, it's funny. Listen. Although, no, to be fair, I think Charlie Kirk would probably be against government bailouts in all cases, to be honest. So they're probably, to be fair, he's so stupid, there isn't actually hypocrisy there. I mean, my personal answer would be, I mean, it depends on the circumstances, I guess, you know. Depends, because the thing is, the question is worded in such a way as to suggest that the only real value that something can bring is on a commercial basis, right? Like, if there's artistic value that someone is bringing, that's irrelevant. It's only whether they can make money out of it. And I kind of just inherently disagree with that. I think things can have value out of the profit paradigm that we exist in currently, you know. But everything is assessed on commerciality and how whether it can be commodified and whether it can make someone money somewhere, right? I don't know. So yeah, I disagree with that sentiment personally.
Gavin.
Commerce. Yeah, exactly. You're right, Zaktar. All economics is a construction, right? Like, the entirety of the economics of our current system is a construction. Okay? And that's why it's so funny when people are like, I don't know, what was I going to say? It's this idea that, like, you it's like, oh well, we can't do that because it wouldn't work with the current economic framework. Do you know what I mean? Like, they use the fact that we have our current economic system as evidence for why we have to have the current economic system. Does that make sense? The point I'm trying to make.
Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Ooh, that's interesting. Huh?
Disagree. No, some form of school, homeschooling or something should be compulsory. Yes.
Okay. All people have their rights, but it's better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind.
What kind of stupid question is that?
Kind? Are we like chickens?
Strongly disagree. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, this one and the race one. Oh, hey, Mr. Geek, thanks for the raid. Welcome, everyone. We're going over Charlie Kirk doing a political compass video. It's extremely embarrassing for him. Capitalism is self-justifying if you can overlook the fundamental contradictions. Yeah, precisely. Well, we saw it here in this video. Charlie Kirk claims to be the free market capitalist. When presented with situations where the free market doesn't fix the issues, then he calls for government intervention, right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, this whole video is absurd. This is the worst one, yeah.
Good parents sometimes have to spank their children.
Agree. The science shows that it works. Agree.
I've actually got into a debate on
Wait, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't at all. That's just a lie. That's just an absolute lie. Beating children does not help them behave. Imagine advocating for just to beat the shit out of children. Imagine just barefaced doing that. Do you think we should beat the shit out of children? Yeah, I do actually. Like, that's basically what we're saying here, okay? You don't have to spank children to make them behave. If the children aren't working hard enough in a command, yeah. The science says the opposite. This idea that the science says it works, like what science are we talking about here? Most experts advise against using corporal punishment. I mean, look, there's the... I don't want to have to, research it all and shit, Here's what spanking does to kids. None of it is good. Spanking is not effective. Paediatricians, don't spank your kids. I know I've just done a Google search. Obviously you could look into it more. Hey, maybe it's because Google is run by them, maybe, but I don't know. I'm not seeing much here that really supports the assertion that the science says spanking your kids works, to be honest with you. Okay, listen, we don't have to go into it in detail, but the point is here. I would love to see what science he's citing here that says that spanking children is good.
No, it works. Agree.
It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents.
Yeah, of course. Agree. This is parent psychology. Yeah, of course.
Okay, possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense.
Again, I have this whole thing. I'm not pro weed or pro marijuana. I think it's actually destroying a lot of young people. Do I think it should be a criminal offense? Again, this is a double negative. So possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Again, if I had a push option, I would do it. I'd probably slightly agree. I don't think people should be locked up forever, but I do not believe in the legalization or the commercialization of marijuana. I think it does total destruction. By the way, I walk into these hotel rooms. I was in one a couple months ago, and I walk in, I just get slapped in the face by this wave of weed or whatever loser was there before me. And why should I have to suffer?
I got hit by this wave of weed by whatever loser was there before me. Loser. What word do you think he wants to say instead of loser? I can guess what word he's thinking of.
Because they wanted to relax. So it's not a victimless practice.
The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs.
Again, that's way too oversimplified. But again, if for college, yes, I would agree. It should not be about intellectual or philosophical exploration. But for grade school or for middle school...
Yeah, anti-intellectualism coming in. Excellent stuff. It's only because he's a fail son. You've seen the video, right, where he talks about how he dropped out of college because he's a complete fail son.
It should be about creating good people. So I'm guessing they're talking about schooling in the... I'll say slightly disagree. Again, it's so binary, it's hard to even engage in it.
Yeah, I feel like they should give you more options. Okay, people with serious inheritable diseases and disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce.
I didn't even go to college. You don't have to go to college. You don't need to get an education. No seriousness. You don't need an education to survive in life and get by in life. But yeah, it's just this kind of anti-intellectualism, right? How's it going? You good? Went to college and are better than all of you. Okay. Nice opening gambit. I like it.
Strongly disagree. What? Who would agree with that? Like mass sterilization? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. This is a eugenics question. This is to find out if you think eugenics is kosher or not. Like this, he just doesn't understand that some of these questions are extremely provocative because your immediate emotive response to them, speaks to your politics, right?
Crazy.
The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline.
No, that's not the most important thing, but it is an important thing. So the most important thing is how to act morally and ethically. That's the most important thing a young person can learn. So I disagree with that.
Okay.
How to act? Okay. The most important thing a young person can learn is how to act morally and ethically. That's why you got to beat the shit out of them if they do something wrong, okay? Because that's how you teach someone morals and ethics. You teach a child morals and ethics by spanking them, apparently, according to Charlie Kirk, okay? So the moral and ethics being learned is if someone does something wrong, you should conduct physical violence against them. Nice ethics, my guy. Nice, good stuff. This guy's fucking terminally stupid. Holy shit.
There are no savage and civilized people. There are only different cultures.
Strongly disagree. No, there are savage cultures out there. Absolutely. Just go to the Middle East. They throw gay people off the top of buildings, okay? There are this whole idea that we are multicultural and all cultures are created the same. The North Korean culture is evil, okay? They do not have press freedom. They do not have individual freedom.
Oh my God. Ooh, yikes. A little bit of a mask off situation there. Savage cultures. Tell me, Charlie, what's the colour of the skin of these people in these savage cultures, I wonder? You mentioned the Middle East. Interesting. I wonder what colour skin these savage cultures are. Gives you that big think, doesn't it? So the North Korea thing isn't the government but the country. Yeah, precisely. That's why it's important to differentiate and talk about like that sort of stuff, Bad government equals evil people. Yeah, if your government is an Islamist theocracy, and they implement laws by which gay people are murdered by the government just for being gay, that means that the culture is savage. Don't you understand? It's so simple, okay? And yeah, he was getting very angry about the conflation of nation and government earlier. But here's the other thing. Remember, he agreed with the statement, okay, that you should support your country whether it does right or wrong. Yeah, I know. This is so ridiculous. This is the worst one yet.
Freedom.
How long have we been doing this for?
They are an evil culture. So same with the Chinese Communist Party, the Chinese culture. So there are. I hate that word savage because they're just trying to bring back many centuries past language. But no, there are different cultures, and there are cultures that. Well, I guess what they're saying is peoples. I don't want to be misunderstood by this question though. What I'm talking about is how there are different cultures. What do you think? Do you think I'm misreading this, or?
There are no savage and civilized people. There are only different cultures. I think the word different cultures is misleading. I think it's saying that some people, just in a geographic location, are inherently barbaric. I don't think that's the case. I think humans are just humans, and we're conditioned by our values and culture and tradition. They're really different cultures. I agree with the question because people, as we are conditioned by our parents and by our values and by the cultures around us.
I guess if that's the question, then yes. But yeah. I thought the question was that.
He's doing the test with someone else because he doesn't have the fortitude. He doesn't have the intellectual fortitude to conduct a simple political compass test by himself. In fact, there's a number of questions with which he's had to consult with this lady to actually understand the simple concept of what the question is asking or what the statement is saying.
That there's no such thing as certain culture is better than the other, which I guess that's not the question.
I think it might be going down like the philosophical route of like,
I don't know why they keep on going to this direction of race. I don't get it. So I guess I agree. Then I say I agree if I misread.
He's going down the direction of race, okay? Because it's trying to place you in one of 4 quadrants on a political compass. And your views on race, okay, can be an indication as to where you go on the political compass. Yeah. God, these questions are worded in such a way that when I answer them, I sound like an enormous racist. What's that about? Hey, listen. When I did the test, there wasn't anything that made me look like a racist, okay? It was quite simple. Very simple stuff.
Read the question then.
Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support.
Strongly agree. If you can work and refuse to work, you should not get a dime or I don't know if you guys know what a dime is, or a nickel of federal support. Or how about 5% of a pound support? Okay, there you go.
Okay, all right. When you're in trouble, it is...
Okay, those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support. I mean, I don't know. You know, we shouldn't be surprised at this point. This dude doesn't give a fuck about anyone, right? This guy's fucking, you know. This is full on Ayn Rand fucking individualism shit going on. What's a nickel? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, it depends what opportunity you're given. Do you know what I mean? It depends what opportunity it is that you're given. What if the job is... I don't know, I can't think of anything. So the solution is letting them die. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is. Anyway, come on, let's continue.
That's just not think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things.
Disagree. You should confront your problems head on, and you should slay the dragon that is currently bothering you. You should not
Slay
defer.
the dragon.
You shouldn't act like it doesn't exist. That's what cowards do.
Okay. First-generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within a new country.
Slightly disagree, but I will say that certain immigrants from certain parts of the country do have a very difficult time integrating with Western culture. So I'll say slightly disagree, but...
More mask off there. If only the Groypers could hear him say stuff like that. Giving you that big think. There's some people from certain parts of the country. Does he mean country or world? I don't know. Interesting.
But I can see where they're trying to go with the question again. It's a very left-wing kind of inclination.
Yeah. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us.
What is with this obsession about corporation versus people? I mean, there's a lot of overlap and there's a lot of humanity that involves companies that employ human beings. I will say disagree. I will not say strongly disagree, but I reject the question.
No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding.
Strongly agree. Defund the BBC. Sorry if I offend anyone over
Oh
there.
my gosh, yes. I just have to pay
So, strongly agree. Defund.
Why would he think that, like, his opinion that the BBC should be defunded would, like, offend someone? Do these people know what offended means and offend means? Like, I don't know. I don't care if you want to think the BBC... Like, whatever, I don't care. I don't give a fuck if you, like, want to defund the BBC. Like, I don't know, it's just... Oh, yeah, I think we should defund the BBC. Sorry if I offend anyone with that opinion. Sorry if I offend anyone with my, you know, harmful opinions. I honestly don't care, like, what some fucking yank dipshit thinks about what we should do with the BBC, like, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. The BBC's alright, they got some good shows. It's a pretty good service. I do think there's some bias, though, like, particularly recently with the Conservatives, there's been some pretty significant bias with the news. But the programming's good, you know? I don't know. Do you think Charlie Kirk's ever watched the show that was being created as a result of, like, the BBC? Like, for example, like, the American version of The Office wouldn't exist if it wasn't for The Office UK, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I just can't imagine that Charlie Kirk has never watched something or enjoyed a piece of entertainment that is in some way linked to the BBC. I just don't buy that. Okay? I just don't believe it. Personally. Let's go on. Let's
NPR
get
and
through
BBC
this.
make them get their own damn funding.
Exactly. Just have to pay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, sure, but the BBC could. The BBC could easily become a public, like a private entity and just sell ad space, you know, and it would just be like every other channel. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm not really that bothered either way, to be honest. I kind of like the BBC.
All right, next question. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism.
I'd say I slightly agree with this. Yes, I am one to try to look out for the Fourth Amendment, as we call it in the United States. So I'll say I slightly agree with that. I am a privacy hawk, and I think those can be abused by tech companies and by people in the National Security Agency in our country that wish to do malevolence and harm against our citizens.
A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress of a democratic political system.
Disagree. There's no advantage to a one-party state. This is like the argument for Kim Jong-un. Like, oh, the good thing about Kim Jong-un is we don't have arguments, because if you argue, you're dead. Like, okay, great. You got a bullet in your head.
I mean, again, he's not contending with the content of the statement. Do you know what I mean? But, I mean, this question is flawed in another way, in my opinion, because you can think it's, like, advantageous, but it doesn't necessarily think that, like, you would want to implement that system. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that it probably is an advantage that you don't have, like, the delays of democracy within a one-party state. Doesn't mean that you want to implement it, though. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. That could be worded better.
Okay, although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier,
Yeah, the question mark, it is a trap, yeah, because if you want to strongly agree, it will put you into, like, authoritarianism. Do you know what I mean? But you might not even necessarily want authoritarianism. Yeah, like there's definitely problems with the quiz, but the fact that he just dismisses the things he doesn't like the way they're written is leftist. Even the one about race he said was leftist, where it was like some races are superior to others. That was clearly written by a leftist. Like, what? Oh, how long have we been doing this for? Is this going to be a YouTube clip? It's going to be quite a long one, but hopefully people will enjoy it. I just feel like this is going over the same ground as the Ben Shapiro or Stephen Crowder stuff, but it is what it is, I guess.
Wrong viewers need to be worried.
Strongly disagree with this. I completely and strongly disagree. That power will be abused. If they can monitor anything, they will go after people that they dislike or disagree with.
The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Ooh.
I actually strongly disagree with this. I'm against the death penalty. It doesn't have a good track record. It's more expensive. We kill innocent people.
Yes.
And I don't think that the government should have the right or the ability to take the lives away of its citizens. So I strongly disagree.
I think this is one of those arguments or these topics that a lot of conservatives have kind of shifted their opinion on to actually, be against the death penalty. It's very interesting to notice that shift among conservatives. In a civilized society...
Okay, listen. He's got one good opinion and all that, okay? I actually agree with Charlie Kirk on that one thing. To be fair... Yeah, broken clock and all that. Listen, if you are actually a small government conservative, as Charlie Kirk claims to be, you should be against the death penalty. Because what bigger government can you envision than one that is able to murder you if it deems that you've committed a serious enough crime? Like, that sounds like a pretty big government to me. And that's why all these fucking small government conservatives that are pro-death penalty are so fucking inconsistent. It's ridiculous. So, at least Charlie Kirk's being somewhat consistent on one question, okay? Yeah, if Sylph was here, I'm sure Sylph would be clipping that. It's all good. wait, that's a good meme. Kirk just doesn't like killing folk in prison, would rather the cops do it. Yeah, true. But yeah, you should also be against militarized police.
Always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded.
That's the weird... I don't know what kind of society they're talking about, like ancient Babylon, but disagree. I don't really understand that.
Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all.
I'm not going to totally offend all the people that like abstract art, but I'll just slightly offend them, so I'll say I agree with that, not strongly agree. How about that? So.
Why does he think what's his obsession with them thinking they're going to offend everyone just for having like the sort of, that sort of, I don't know, like opinion? That's just, you're not going to offend anyone with that. I don't know. They're obsessed with this idea that everything they say is potentially going to offend someone. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, when people disagree with you, they're obviously offended because it's abstract porn in his guest house. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, like, art is totally subjective, right? There's no such thing as objectively good or bad art. Art is in the eye of the beholder.
In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation.
I strongly agree with that. Yes, punishment can be rehabilitating for people. to act like punishment can't be rehab is nonsense. If you raped somebody, I don't care about rehabbing you. You're a sick person. You should be in jail the rest of your life. I'm not in the interest of trying to heal you. You've already destroyed someone else's life, and you've committed a heinous crime that, in my eyes, is unforgivable on earth. So your best rehab is society punishing you.
It is a waste
That literally is like the opposite of rehabilitation, though. And also, he uses like an extreme and emotive example of a crime. Right? Yeah, carve it back, exactly. Eye for an eye. Interesting. Oh, that's true. Yeah. He just said he's against the death penalty, but if you rape someone, you should be locked up for the rest of your life. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, obviously, my answer is very different to his. I just think it's interesting how you see the inconsistencies start to weave through the longer they go on with this stuff. Yeah. No, I agree with you, Hot Take Andy. The problem with like the discussion around the rehabilitation of rapists and abusers and stuff, etc. It's an extremely difficult and contentious conversation to have. Okay. Because, of course, it's an extremely emotive subject, right? Like, holy shit. It's extremely emotive. Because if you're someone that's been the victim of something like that, the idea of a discussion around the rehabilitation of someone that's done that to you is, of course, incredibly upsetting. Of course it is. Holy shit. Yeah, exactly. It's an extremely loaded topic. And it's one of those things that, like, I just wouldn't want to have that conversation, really, because it's just, it. But it kind of goes back to the concept as well of, like, we don't let the victims of the crime decide what the punishment is. Do you see what I mean? Like, under restorative justice, the victim can have a say in what they think the person that committed the crime should do to fix the issue. But they don't, like, ideally, obviously, some countries, they do actually have, like, in fact, there was one story I read about how basically someone in a country was blinded in an acid attack, and the judgment that was given that the person that got attacked got to blind the person that attacked them. It was literally an eye for an eye. I read about this ages ago. So they literally poured like acid or whatever into their eye to blind them back. Literally an eye for an eye. And it's the classic thing, isn't it, of an eye for an eye and everyone's blind, right? Yeah, I can't remember which country it is in. It might have been in India maybe or something like that. But yeah. I don't know how to search. I don't know what search to do to find the story, but...
Try and rehabilitate some criminals.
Strongly agree. Yeah. Strongly agree.
Time and money. Okay, the business person and the manufacturer, what?
I don't know. I think it's a waste of time trying to rehabilitate. I mean, you can try and rehabilitate anyone, right? I mean, you can try and rehabilitate anyone. But there does come a point where, it could be that someone is maybe it comes a point where you've got to give up on that, And that's what a life sentence is for, right? I mean, these people take it, well, not Charlie Kirk, but some conservatives take it a step further and say that's what the death penalty is for. But, like, there are some people that are potentially, like, so dangerous, and there's no indication that they can be rehabilitated, that even though you can try, at some point you would go, okay, well, look, this person clearly... Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. I don't think it's a waste of time to try with anyone, but it could be that, sure, in individual cases, maybe it gets to that point. I don't know.
Look, what kind of silly question? Like, they want me to do a value judgment? They both have equal contributions. If they're both voluntarily cooperating, then everyone's important. Important to what? Important to the GDP or important to the value and the fabric of the country? That's what's so great about a free society is I'm not centrally commanding them. Whatever leftist wrote this quiz is trying to impose that on us. So I'll say disagree, not strongly disagree, but I generally I think it's a silly question.
Okay, next question. Mothers may have careers, but
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. It's obviously, this is about what you think. Do you know what I mean? This is about your belief. I mean, yeah, could the question be worded better? Sure. But like, he just keeps dismissing it as the leftists have written this quiz. It's just, I don't know. It's funny to me. Marx. The Marx stuff earlier was fun. I wanted to say more stuff about Marx.
their first duty is to be homemakers. Oh, okay.
So I'm going to answer this question in a way that will be controversial, but I don't mean it the way that was asked. Do I believe that most women have a desire to be mothers and they should fulfill that? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I like the question? No. So I know what they're trying to ask, and I'm going to say slightly agree, but I believe most women have a biological predisposition to procreate and to nurture and to be mothers, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it should be embraced and celebrated. So I kind of reject the question, but I'm going to say agree, because I think that's what they're trying to ask.
Yeah. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the culture.
I mean, yeah, some of these questions are just being answered in exactly the way you'd expect. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, these people see lefties lurking around every corner. Yeah, I know, it's funny, isn't it? Literally, like, it's certainly like within many like Western sort of nations, like very little. Like, look at what happened to Labour, like in the UK last year. Obviously, in America, things aren't looking too good in terms of Bernie Sanders dropping out. But the leftists are the danger, lurking behind every corner, lurking behind every door, lurking behind political compass quizzes. The Marxism was coming from inside the house, yeah.
Resources of developing countries.
Disagree. I don't know. I mean, some companies, some are doing it ethically and doing it properly and employing a lot of people. So show me the company, show me the example.
Yeah.
So I'll just say disagree, because I don't like this general indictment against companies. That's what this whole quiz is about. Like, let's just put companies on trial. It's silly.
Yeah.
Put companies on trial. It's silly to do that. It's, yeah, spectre of communism. I don't know. I just feel like he's just answering in these questions now the way you would expect. Do you know what I mean?
Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Peace with the
Strongly disagree.
Who's the
Again, they're supposed to be like kind of communicating to young leftists, like, no, I'll never make peace with the establishment status quo, even though the socialists and the Marxists are actually the status quo. So
The socialists and the Marxists are the status quo. The socialists and the Marxists are the status quo.
establishment status quo, even though the socialists and the Marxists are actually the status quo. So
I want to have that as a what do you call it? As like a notification thing. Maybe for like a dono or sub or something. It says the socialists and the Marxists are the status quo. That's such a good meme. Holy shit. I mean, yeah, I know we've been watching this for a little while now, but it's like Comrade Cud said earlier, right? How can you possibly take someone that says something like the socialists and the Marxists are the status quo? How can you possibly take anything that person says seriously? Like, come on, that is absurd. That is totally absurd. Oh, God. Okay, let's just move on.
Okay, next question. Astrology accurately explains many things.
disagree. I believe in the Bible. That's my North Star, not the actual North Star.
You cannot be moral without being religious.
This is a very difficult question. It's an indictment against religion. So I think
you cannot be moral without being religious. How is it an indictment against religion? The framing of the question is that you have to be religious in order to be moral. How is that an indictment against religion? Well, what the fuck? Does he just not understand these questions? How is that an indictment against religion? The framing of the question is that you have to be religious to be moral. That is supportive of the concept. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Why do I do this to myself? Anyway, let's just
religious people can be moral, absolutely. But where we get the idea of right and wrong from is originally from the Torah and then the Bible, or else right, good and bad is just an opinion. If there is no God, then right and wrong is just us an up or down vote. If you believe that there was some sort of big bang that started space, time, and matter, therefore there must be something using the laws of logic that was spaceless, timeless, and matterless that started that big bang. And even the most committed atheists agree that is the greatest argument for the existence of a God. Therefore, if there is a God, therefore everything we know to be true, right and wrong, had to be created by somebody. It wasn't discovered, it wasn't stumbled upon, it wasn't fallen backwards within it.
Oh yeah, Coverbacks. We'll have a look at, what is it the political compass says? I can't remember what it says off the top of my head. But it does explain that, like, yeah? I don't know.
So I will disagree with this, even though I will say that we get our morals from a religious construct. Does that make sense? But someone who has no religion at all, of course they can act morally. But where do we get that definition of morals? That's actually the question. That's where I'm getting into my problem with the question.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the generally disadvantaged.
Who's going to answer this?
Yes, charity is by far the best way to voluntarily help people. Absolutely. Social security, which is a different meaning of this quiz of what it is in America, but government assistance is not the best way to help people. Charity, people helping people, churches, synagogues, individual philanthropy is by far better than that. So I strongly agree it's better.
I mean, conservatives like say that all the time, right? Conservatives say that charity is the best thing. Do you know what I mean? Treat others how you want to be treated. Okay, listen. I've just brought up the political compass test, and yeah. We'll after we finish this, we'll go. I'd forgotten it says this. It's hilarious. It just honestly, yeah. Carberry Pax has absolutely nailed that point. So we'll bring that up in a sec.
Okay. Some people are naturally unlucky.
Strongly disagree. You are the master of your own future. Act morally. Be smart. Don't do stupid stuff, and you'll be just fine. No, some people are not naturally unlucky. That's not an excuse. Some people say, yeah, I'm so unlucky. Every time I committed a crime, the police would always catch me. Well, maybe you shouldn't have committed a crime in the first place. Okay?
I love the fact that he uses that. What if you're in a car accident that isn't your fault and you get both of your legs severed? I mean, are people naturally unlucky? I don't know. I don't. The frame of the question is interesting. I think that like people have bad luck. Do you know what I mean? Oh yeah. No, that's a good point actually. Sorry, I'm thinking it within the framework of like in America, for example. But yeah, sure. This is the thing. Like, yeah, of course, if you're born in like a country that is destitute, that is a very that's poverty stricken, and into a poverty area, and it's like, yeah, sure. Throwing a 10p at a homeless person is better than paying taxes, I guess.
So no, some people are not naturally unlucky. Make good choices and act morally.
Okay.
I mean, it's different. Make good choices and act morally, Fivehead. What's that? You were born in one of the poorest countries in the world, with like a very severe medical condition, right? Come on, just act morally and make good choices, Fivehead. Like, what's wrong with you? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Oh, just make lots of money, idiot. Okay, sorry. Conform for crying out loud, stop resisting.
I think that my child's school instills religious values.
Strongly agree. Absolutely, yes. My fictitious child or my future children, absolutely.
Okay, these are the last few questions. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral.
I agree with that. Yes, according to the Bible, that is correct.
Yeah, pornography depicting consenting adults.
Wait, hang on. Wait. What's going on here? Why are they cutting this? Hang on a sec. Why are they cut? Hang on a sec. Wait, why are they cutting this? All up until this point, they've just been going over it. No problems. Everything fine. Okay? No troubles whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, we get to these questions about pornography and sex. And all of a sudden, we're cutting it. What's that about? Sorry, I'm just quickly going through these options, 'cause I just want to see what we're missing, okay? That doesn't make any sense to me. What do you think's going on there? Why do you think they've cut this all out? Had to cut the gamer word out. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, listen, I'll just keep playing it.
Should be legal for the adult population.
Disagree.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's just another reason.
Wait, what? Hang on a sec. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. How could you possibly disagree with that? With what? What? Between consenting adults? What?
What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state.
It's very difficult to say that because what goes on? Well, what if they're cutting each other's arms off? Okay, then it is the business.
Oh my god, what? That's the thing he jumps to. What if they're cutting each other's arms off? Oh yes, that very popular kink where literally a couple will just go at each other with machetes and just slice the fuck out of it, just slice each other's limbs off. What? That's like, listen. There is this thing of like people do get like it's such a tiny kink. Do you know what I mean? Like it's such a tiny thing. Like there's barely anyone that does this shit. And he's jumping to like, what if they're cutting each other's arms off? Cutting each other's arms off. And don't forget as well, yeah, exactly, Vox. Earlier in the video, he says you shouldn't engage in hypotheticals. And all he's done all video is talk about fucking hypotheticals. Okay, where are we? 2556, okay? Make a note of that.
Which is a different meaning of this quiz of what it is in America, but government assistance is not the best, individual philanthropy. Strongly disagree. You are the master of your own future. Act morally. Be smart. Don't do stupid stuff. Some people say, yeah, I'm so in the first place, okay? My fictitious child or my future children. Absolutely.
Right, listen. So, sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Watch this bit.
Okay, these are the last few questions. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral.
I agree with that. Yes, according to the Bible, that is correct.
Yeah, pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population.
Disagree.
Yeah. It's one of those things.
What question did they cut out? Are you wondering? Are you wondering what question they cut out? I'll tell you what question they cut out. This one. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. That's the question that they cut out. I wonder why that is. Interesting that, isn't it? Very, very revealing. Okay? That they cut that out. Ooh, interesting. Let's just play it out anyway.
What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state.
It's very difficult to say that because what goes on? Well, what if they're cutting each other's arms off? Okay, then it is the business of the state. Okay, what if they're torturing each other? All right, then it's the business of the state. So,
I don't know. Being tortured, doing a bit of torturing sounds like fun, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god. You can tell this guy's into the most vanilla sex imaginable. Missionary for the sole purpose of procreation. That's Charlie Kirk's kink, okay? I just love the fact that the first thing he goes to is fucking they're just slicing each other's arms off. Like what? He thinks that like I don't know, premarital sex is like a scene from a medieval night film or something. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. We should have gone whole hog. Yeah, well, what if they're shooting each other in the head? What about that? Did you think about that? There's nothing wrong with enjoying vanilla. Oh, come on. Listen, that's literally the least spicy thing I've ever fucking said. Come on, don't be pulling those cards on me. If you like vanilla, hey, listen, if you like vanilla sex, that's fine, okay? No problem. Anyway, if I mock people that like vanilla sex, that's literally the opposite of kink shaming. I don't know. It doesn't. Okay, go on. Let's continue.
So I'll say disagree. It's a silly question. What they're trying to say is, well, two consenting adults. Okay, again, that's not the right way to word it. I know what they're trying to ask. Okay, it's silly.
Listen, I know what they're trying to ask. Okay. I know what they're trying to ask, but I'm not going to explain it. Okay, I know what they're trying to ask. They're trying to find out about these people cutting off each other's arms in their bedroom. Okay, that's what they're trying to get to here. That's the actual question. Vanilla sex is too daring for him. Oh yeah, here we go. This is going to be a good one.
No one can feel naturally homosexual. That's a weird question.
Disagree. I don't know what that even means.
These days, openness.
Well, what they're trying to get to is whether you think that people are gay. It's the nature or nurture thing, right? Like, that's very simple. I don't know. He just sort of dismissed that. He's obviously he is currently the most uncomfortable he has been in the entire questions. These people just can't handle thinking about sex. Do you know what I mean?
Sex has gone too far.
Strongly agree, because we're talking about 9 questions about this stuff.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean? 9 questions? Literally, they're the most milquetoast questions you can imagine. It's not like they're asking, "Hey, Charlie, do you want to be gangbanged and bukkakied by 50 dudes in a Wendy's parking lot?" Like, it's not like that extreme. Do you know what I mean? It's literally just like questions to ascertain what your position on these sort of fairly milquetoast sex-related topics are. Yeah. This is a real Puritan shit, right? Oh my god. We're so open about sex. We're asking questions about whether gay people should be able to adopt, but no, they had to cut that out of the thing, didn't they? Yeah, he's super repressed for sure.
Okay, right.
Where are my results?
Okay.
Okay, well, I guess I'm not very authoritarian. I'm not a leftist, everybody, but I do believe in freedom and liberty. But I just want to say I take strong objection with a lot of things in this test. I'm very pro-life. I'm very pro-traditional marriage, and that wasn't even a question that was asked. It wasn't even a question like, do you believe marriage is between one man and one woman, which I believe in.
It turned out the questions I wanted. Oh my god.
It was fun, but why don't we do we should create our own political compass quiz that just asks basic questions. Do you think freedom is a right? Like, that would be a nice, where do rights come from? God or government? Like, basic questions. But anyway, this was fun. Maybe people learned something, and it's always good to be able to discuss these issues.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for joining us, Charlie. This was great.
You bet. All right. God bless. Thank you.
And again, I'll just highlight that the political compass test they came up with was totally fucking absurd. We went through it earlier. If you missed it, you should check the YouTube clip out because it's really funny. Okay, so listen, this is going to be the final thing I reference in terms of this video. And Carpe Pax, you spoke to this earlier. Listen. Before taking the test, please note this isn't a survey and these aren't questions. They're propositions. To question the logic of individual ones that irritate you is to miss the point. He did that a lot. Some propositions are extreme and some are moderate. That's how we can show you whether you lead toward extremism or moderation on the compass. Your responses should not be overthought. Some of them are intentionally vague. Their purpose is to trigger reactions in the mind, measuring feelings and prejudices rather than detailed opinions on policy. So, you're exactly right, Carpe Pax. Hey, Red Venture, thanks for that. Yeah, it is extremely explicit. They're basic. Yeah, this is exactly. I didn't actually realise this is what it said when I said it earlier, but yeah, they're provocative for a reason. It's to elicit a response from you so that you react strongly to it. Only a leftist would write this one at Natural's Total Gotcha quiz. So yeah, that was clearly just an advert for their dumb fuck political quiz that rates you on a speedometer of how fast a conservative you are or something. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed doing that. I hope you enjoyed it too. Jumping to conclusions, Olympic sport for them. But yeah, that was pretty fun. I don't know. That'll be the third. I've done two. I did the Stephen Crowder one and the Ben Shapiro one. I think I called them the Ben Shapiro political compass test is totally absurd. The X political compass test is totally absurd. So that'll be the Charlie Kirk political compass test is totally absurd. There we go. Job done. Content created. Okay.